Hi everyone, this is Dr. Mike, host of the free iTunes podcast, Psychiatric Secrets Revealed with Dr. Mike, but that's not why I'm here today. This is another Saving Savvy episode. This time I'm going to try to answer the question, what do you do when your iPhone suddenly starts to chew through its battery? Now this happened to me about a week ago. And even when I wasn't using the phone was really warm to touch, and you could just see the percentage dropping on the battery, almost like a stone, until in the early afternoon my battery was completely dead. And normally my battery lasts an entire day and often 2 days without charging, so to be dead in that amount of time, something was definitely up. So I'm going to go through some basic things, and then I'm going to tell you the kind of strange thing that actually did fix the problem. I found this on the internet. I don't know why exactly it worked, but it did work. But let's go through some basics first. So the first thing that you want to do, if I can get my phone on here, is you want to make sure that all services are off on the phone that you don't need to be using. So if you're not using Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, turn them off. Of course, that's not the problem here because, again, those are kind of minor power users, but they do conserve power. The second thing that you'd like to, or that you should do, is to see if there are any programs running that you don't really want to have running. So if you double click, I can get in here, double click on your home key, you're going to see all the active programs that are running on this bottom ribbon here. And you can actually scroll around. And so for instance, if I press on Facebook here, I'm going to see a little kind of negative sign on top of each of those programs. If there's a program there that I am not really using, I can press on that little negative sign and I'll terminate that program. That actually does help in situations when you may have a program like a GPS program that's really kind of memory and processor intensive, that's running in the background that you don't even know maybe is running at the time. But that wasn't my problem either. Well, the next thing that I tried was what's called a reset. And a reset involves holding down the power button and the home key at the same time for about 20 seconds until you see the Apple logo, which basically reboots your phone, sort of like you'd reboot a computer. So if you have some weird stuff running in the background and you're not quite sure what it is, it's going to reboot the computer. It doesn't get rid of data or anything like that, and hopefully things will be back to normal. That does work for some people, didn't work for me. So what else can you do? Well, the next thing I tried was to restore the phone. So if you use a program like iTunes, which of course you probably use with your phone, you just kind of plug in, oh, that's not the right plug, but you kind of plug in your lightning connector or your regular, other pin connector to your phone, and you go into iTunes and you can actually restore your phone that way. Now what you have to do before that is to make sure that you back up your phone, otherwise you're going to be losing data and other things that you need. So back up the phone first and then restore it, and for some people that will solve the problem. But you know what? It didn't work for me. So what can you do after that? Well, the thing that I did that actually did work, and I read this on the internet, is I actually deleted all of my mail accounts. So my iCloud account, my Exchange account, which was Gmail, my Hotmail account, and these were also linked to my calendar and my contact list. So make sure you have backups of those somewhere on one of your other devices or in the cloud or someplace, because once you delete it, it's gone. But they completely eliminated, like it wiped clean my calendar and my contacts. Then I reestablished those accounts, and so then my calendar was repopulated and my contacts were repopulated. And you know what? That actually solved the problem. Now, why would that solve the problem? What I read is that sometimes something in your calendar will, or even contacts, will kind of call upon the processor over and over and over again. It gets in some sort of a loop, and it kind of lowers your battery because your phone is running on super high power. Now, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but what I do know is that solved my problem. So now my battery at the end of the day was about 85%. I didn't use my phone very much today, but 85% as opposed to 0. So try those things if you're running into some problems with your phone, especially if the back is warm and it seems like the battery is suddenly dropping in a way too fast way. It's probably either your transmitters are transmitting too much or your processor is processing too much and something's stuck in there making it do that. So with that, I'd like to say have a great day, and if you get some time, please give my free podcast a listen. It's called Psychiatric Secrets Revealed with Dr. Mike. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on other pod-catching sites. And good evening.